The town of Briar Hollow lay hidden between the folds of endless pine forests and a wide silver lake that never froze, not even in the coldest winter. They called it Grendel Lake, named after the creature that supposedly lived beneath its dark surface. For generations, people had whispered stories about the monster, about missing fishermen, about the ripples that appeared when no wind blew, about something that moved just below the reflection of the moon. Most dismissed it as folklore. All except one man, Elias Turner, a reclusive biology teacher who had moved to Briar Hollow after his wife drowned there 5 years ago. People said he came to find peace. But those who knew him better understood that Elias had come to find answers. Every night, he sat on the old wooden dock behind his cabin, staring into the still water with a lantern at his feet and a notebook in hand. Sometimes he would throw pebbles into the lake, watching how long the ripples lasted. Other times he just listened to the croaking frogs, the rustling trees, and that faint humming sound that sometimes rose from beneath the lake like the voice of something ancient, asleep but dreaming. One foggy autumn evening, Elias noticed something strange. A flock of birds circling low over the lake, their cries sharp and panicked. Then the water moved, not in gentle ripples, but in a massive swirling motion, as if something enormous was turning beneath it. The reflection of the moon twisted, and for a second, Elias saw what looked like a pale shape moving deep below, too big to be a fish, too smooth to be debris. He dropped his lantern. That night, Elias began his journal, a record of everything he observed, every rumor he collected from the villagers. "If the monster is real," he wrote, "then so is the secret that binds it to this lake." Weeks passed. Elias found out about a local legend, the Maiden of Grendel Lake. According to the old priest, the monster was once a woman who drowned herself in the lake 2 centuries ago after her lover betrayed her. Her grief, it was said, had turned to rage, and rage to something far worse. She became the guardian of the deep, feeding on the guilt and fear of those who came too close. Elias wasn't the first to search for her. The archives in the town's library told stories of divers who never returned, fishermen whose boats were found adrift, empty, but with nets torn apart like cloth. There were even grainy photographs, taken decades ago, showing faint shapes beneath the surface. Elias decided to go out there himself. He bought an old rowboat, repaired the oars, and one night, when the mist was thick enough to hide him from the world, he pushed off into the black water. The lake was eerily still. No wind, no sound, just the rhythmic dip of his oars. Halfway across, he felt it, that humming again, deeper this time, vibrating through the water and into his bones. He leaned over the side, shining his flashlight. For a brief moment, he thought he saw something. A pale face beneath the water, eyes wide open, watching him. The boat rocked violently. Elias dropped the light, and darkness swallowed him. He heard the splash, felt something brush against his leg, cold, smooth, and impossibly strong. When he woke, he was lying on the shore, soaked to the bone. The boat was gone. So was his flashlight. In his hand was a single object, a lock of black hair knotted around a fragment of bone. Elias didn't tell anyone. Who would believe him? But he kept the hair in a jar, like evidence. He became obsessed. Every night, he returned to the lake, whispering to the water, begging for answers. "What do you want?" he asked. Sometimes he thought he heard a reply, a faint feminine voice that rose with the mist, "Come closer." Then the disappearances began again. First a young couple from the next town, then a fisherman, then 2 hikers. Their bodies were never found, only their belongings, washed up near the reeds. Each time, the sheriff said it was an accident. But Elias knew better. The pattern matched his notes. Every incident occurred under the full moon. He decided to dive. He borrowed an old diving suit from the university and set up a rope system with markers. On the night of the next full moon, he descended into Grendel Lake. The cold hit him like knives. The deeper he went, the darker it became, until his light caught something unnatural. Wooden pillars, covered in algae and carved with symbols. A structure. It looked like an altar, standing upright on the lakebed, surrounded by bones, human bones. In the center was a stone statue of a woman, her hands reaching upward, her face cracked and half eroded. As Elias approached, the silt around the base began to move, as if something underneath it was waking up. He turned his light down and saw her. Not stone, Not entirely. Her eyes opened. A pale figure rose from the darkness, her hair floating around her like black smoke. Her mouth moved, but no words came out, only bubbles. Her eyes glowed faintly, and Elias felt his mind filling with images. Drowning faces, screams underwater, the weight of endless sorrow. She touched his helmet. Cracks spread across the glass. Elias screamed, and everything went black. When he woke, he was back in his cabin. The diving suit lay in a heap by the door, wet and torn. He couldn't remember how he got there. The jar with the hair and bone was gone, and carved into the wooden wall above his bed were 3 words. You found me. Over the next few days, Elias grew weaker. His eyes darkened, his voice trembled, and sometimes he spoke in a language no one understood. The villagers avoided him. They said he was cursed, that the lake had claimed his soul. Then, one morning, the cabin door was found wide open. The floor was wet. His notebook lay on the dock, pages soaked but still legible. The last entry read, "She was never a monster. She was a woman betrayed, turned into something eternal. The lake is her body. The mist is her breath. Tonight I will join her." No one ever saw Elias Turner again. But a week later, the fog over Grendel Lake thickened like never before. Some say if you stand by the shore at midnight, you can see 2 figures beneath the surface, a man and a woman, holding hands, swaying gently in the dark water. And sometimes if you listen long enough, you can still hear the humming,